king. A tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Yeah, you are my.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the post show for Summerslam. I'm a not so happy OLED Ed Fries. I'm joined by the probably slightly less unhappy astridpizarro. And then there's that guy way down the end who's dancing a little jig. You know, it's not quite Gallus winning the tag team championships and Joe Coffey.
Never gonna happen.
But he's almost as happy as if those things had happened. It's Mark Talks Wrestling. We got Bobby Munson in the chat saying, hello, my friends. I've been having a fun day today, and SummerSlam added to my fun. I hope you have an amazing stream. I so need to fix this intro video. It's insane.
I feel like I'm at a game show.
There was a private chat during that where Astrid says, we need to fix this music now. So, yes, we agree.
Yes.
And you know what?
Yes.
Since we're doing that, I'll do that in a little. What did we all think of the show as a whole?
Sheesh. I'm torn about it because I feel like the matches were good, but me personally, I'm not saying they were bad results, but me personally don't like some of the results. That's just me. I know this one's happy.
Mark?
If I'm gonna go non-biased, I would say that it was a very, very good. Matches were quality. The way it was put together was good. I think the way I look at wrestling shows is, did I enjoy it? Did I have fun? If I take the results aside when I'm watching something, did I agree or not? Did I have fun watching the matches? Coming away with it without the results, I would say very much so. There's a few things, but at the same time, I had a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. And it was the biggest party of the summer. What can you not like about it?
Oh! It was a summertime thing. Let's start at the beginning of the show where WWE started. Liv Morgan takes on Rhea Ripley. I don't know if there's anything on the pre-show. I did not watch 3 hours of pre-show.
No.
Not going to happen, no. WWE. Could care less.
No, that was too much for nothing.
To be fair, we were doing our interview while that was on, so we didn't watch much of that either. So, well, I didn't anyway.
We got our good friend Sean Cena dropping in to say hello. Hello, Sean Cena. Thank you for joining us. Liv versus Rhea opened the show. Astrid, as the prominent ladies wrestling enthusiast here, what did you think of Liv versus Rhea?
I feel like overall they did great with the storytelling, though. This is the part that I enjoy the most. We saw Rhea being such a beast and a badass, just popping in that shoulder not once but twice during that match. It's just something I was not expecting to see, and I will not be forgetting about it anytime soon. No, I like the parts of like the beginning, especially with Dom being at ringside, that Rhea is just teasing Liv that she has Dom, only for them to turn on the end. And it's exactly the way it happened, or similarly to the way it happened with Becky Lynch as well. He throws in the chair and then distracts the referee as Liv does the Oblivion on the chair, and then pins Rhea, and Rhea is just super angry. So if I was them, I'll be hiding right now up until Monday happens at least. And then they kiss afterwards. So yeah, there's a lot of storytelling there. Somebody reminded me that it was exactly like the Jericho Christian Trish Stratus WrestleMania 20. I don't want to say spot, I guess angle if you want to call it, but
which was bad then, and it's
yeah,
bad now.
yeah. But yeah, overall, I feel like they did great with storytelling. We had that Predator versus Prey kind of story within the match, and the way they took over. I feel like it was great to see Rhea back. I love the way they played out in the match in itself. I had a feeling, obviously, the ending was going to be the way it happened, so it's not surprising to me.
Mark, what do you think of this match?
I've got to say that Dirty Dom is probably one of the luckiest people that could grace the planet.
I have one that I'll petition for you in a moment, but go ahead.
Okay, we'll go with that in a minute. But I have to say, and we joke about that Dirty Dom's going to get annihilated, and most probably so. But you have to talk about. I'm going to switch it off. The wrestling was good. It was more with this match was more about the storytelling. But for me, if we're going to go with storytelling, you've got to talk about the character work. And you have to give absolute massive props to the way Dom has transformed himself into being this absolutely phenomenal heel that will get beaten up as much as he wants, and he will get destroyed, all this. But the acting and the way he does things are so top-notch that you have to give him so much prop for it. For that, and you've got to talk about the way it was done, and Rhea showing that she's just an absolute beast no matter what, and Liv Morgan as well doing that, the heel that runs away, that doesn't want to be a part of it but can still go in the middle of the ring as well. I've always been very much so, yes I am very much so, I've always been Liv Morgan has not been, and I think I said this when she won the world title. I think I was on here, and I said I don't think she's ready, and I don't think she should have won that title. By God, has she proven me wrong by what the work she's been doing since being the champion. Overall, I really like this match. I like the way it ended. I like the way it's going to go. For me, it looks like Dom's had enough of just being the side piece to Rhea Ripley, and wants to be the main person in a group or the main person around. And he's sick and tired of doing that, and he thinks he can get that with Liv Morgan. Who knows how this is going to go? But there's a certain someone in AEW that wants to jump ship for one match to teach him a lesson. But he can stay on the B brand and the B show and try and get some TV time when Dominic's running the whole of WWE.
I thought this was a good match. And speaking of Dominic Mysterio, there are two people I want to compare Dominic Mysterio to. First, to answer Mark's question of is there a luckier man in the world? Yes. And his name is Buddy Murphy or Buddy Matthews.
Yes.
Because remember, Dominic in storyline is with Liv and with Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
In reality,
yes,
Buddy Murphy has been with Alexa Bliss and Rhea Ripley. So let's just go ahead and say Buddy's done better for himself than Dominic. Let's just say that Mr. Rhea Ripley, Buddy Murphy, is doing just fine for himself. He just got a fat stack of cash from AEW. He's got Rhea Ripley. I mean, man's doing well for himself. The other person I want to compare Dominic to, and this one might get me a little bit in trouble. Dominic is just a slightly better version of James Ellsworth.
No.
He's a slightly better version than James Ellsworth.
No. He's miles beyond, like, there's James
really
Ellsworth, and then Dominic Mysterio is so far ahead that it is unable to see. Like, James Ellsworth is like the toilet, and Dominic Mysterio is nowhere near that. It just, if we're going to compare them to toilets, then James Ellsworth is the Portaloo, and Dominic Mysterio is the throne that the king sits on when he needs to go. That's basically how it is.
I'm just saying, he reminds me. This whole thing reminds me a lot of James Ellsworth. But moving on, I like this match a lot. I thought Rhea Ripley did everything she needed to do to make Liv Morgan look like a star. Liv is doing what Liv always does, which is make sure she does just good enough to not let down the match. I'm not a big Liv fan. I've never been a big Liv fan. I'm not going to be a big Liv fan. She's doing well. She's doing everything she needs to do. But she does nothing to interest me. Ever. But Rhea Ripley does a lot of things that interest me. Rhea Ripley is fantastic. Rhea Ripley did a very good job, and this match was good. It had more than enough time. It told the story that they wanted to tell. And while it's not the story I like, it's the story they want to tell. Sometimes paint by the numbers works. This show was point blank. Sometimes paint by the numbers is just fine.
Yeah, it'll be over soon.
Nothing that happened tonight was a surprise, with the exception of maybe one thing. Maybe one thing was a surprise, but everything else was just kind of as expected.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say. I don't think anything that happened tonight really surprised me. But then again, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I mean, with the exception of one thing. And we'll get there. I wanted to see Poe. We'll get to him. We'll get to that man. Don't you worry. I missed the first two matches, so I'm listening very carefully.
Careful.
No, this was a good match. Liv Morgan comes out on top. It starts the fall of the Judgment Day as Judgment arrives, like the title of the show tonight. Judgment arrived for the Judgment Day. By the way, I do think it's willing to point out, I forget who pointed this out on Twitter, but Rhea and Damian were the two people in Judgment Day that turned on Edge. Mm-hmm. And now the Judgment Day turns on them.
Yeah.
Specifically those two. So I think that that's very good long-term storytelling, even if it's a forgotten piece of storytelling. I like that long-term storytelling of those two got turned on after they turned on Edge to bring Finn in the group.
You can also say that those two are the only members of the Judgment Day for the past, what was it, since Rhea Ripley's come back, that actually doing more babyface work than anyone else.
Well, yes, I mean,
and you knew the downfall of Damian Priest was when he started yeeting. I knew as soon as he started doing that, not as against the yeeting because I love to yeet and I normally yeet all over myself, but when I saw Damian Priest start doing that, and then when Rhea Ripley said no, he's fine, you leave Jay, and then I knew, yeah, this is going to fall quickly just for them two. There's no one else they will fall.
No, and I can tell you this Damian turning into a face has been happening since the cash-in. I can tell you that. Because ever since he became champion, he said, I want to do this by myself. And that was the first hint of him being away from the group and not counting on the group for the victories. And then they came out still, even when he said he didn't want them there. So that already tells you those were the little hints of it happening. And then same thing with Rhea. I feel like it kind of after Mania, it's when it gives you the hint of like she was turning, but with the injury, that's what delayed it. But they both basically turned at the same time during about WrestleMania time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Sorry, just fixing some things on the back end here. So we move on. We had a backstage segment where Damian Priest was very, very angry at the Judgment Day, trying to find out where Dominic is. Says some mean things to everybody. Carlito goes off relatively unwillingly with JD McDonough to go find Dominic Mysterio. And then Finn Balor does eventually leave, leaving Damian Priest by himself. We then move on to match number 2, which was... Oh, yes. Braun Breaker defeats Sami Zayn to become the Intercontinental Champion. We all need to have a moment of silence for the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, Sami Zayn.
Fuck that. No. I will not let
And he's not on his computer, so I can give it to him because he can't get unmuted without me now.
Yeah, can.
No, he can't. Damn it! All right, Mark. I'm gonna go first. We're gonna let you kind of tag up the rear, as we know that this is not one of your favorite matches. I love this. I thought this was great. I thought it was short and sweet, but it did exactly what it needed to do in exactly the amount of time it needed to do it.
Yep.
This match could have been 5-10 more minutes longer, and I'd have been fine. But I like the fact that it was Bron right out of the gate tries to end it immediately. That doesn't work. Sami gets the better of him. And they bounce back and forth. Big move, big move, big move. But it doesn't feel like a Brock Lesnar or a Goldberg big move match. Because there's a lot of little things going on in between the big move stuff that I thought was really good here. Braun Breaker is a star in the making. I mean, I think he's already a star, but this is going to be his first opportunity to show how big of a star he can be. That Intercontinental Champion, especially right now, is perfect for him because there's a nice little Intercontinental division on there. That again, I will say it again. I don't want any long-term champions for the foreseeable future. I kind of want to ping-pong a lot of these championships around. Not weeks, but more months. I want 2 or 3 month reigns from a lot of these guys going in and out. Because I could see Braun losing to Ilya after 2 or 3 months. And then Ilya having it for 2 or 3 months and losing to Gable. Or losing to Braun again. And kind of moving this title around with a small group of guys that are ready, willing, and Gable to be able to go ahead and hold this Intercontinental Championship. There's a nice group of them that can do that. Plus, you're going to need a lot of heels and some baby faces on that Intercontinental division because Gunther's going to be running through all your top-level baby faces for the next little while. So I don't think you're going to have a lot of baby faces for Braun to beat. So I think you need to start feeding him some heels here and there, like a Chad Gable, like, other people on the Raw roster. There are some good ones on there that I think you can feed to him to do it. But the Intercontinental Championship, like Sean Cena says here, the Intercontinental Championship is usually the first title a new superstar wins. Exactly. It is a title that you prove yourself when you have these mid-card championships. That's the way it used to be in the 90s. Guy comes in, wins the mid-card championship, proves he's a workhorse, goes ahead and wins the big title. That's how things used to work. And yes, Braun works a lot safer than Goldberg. I work a lot safer in the ring than Goldberg. Ashley, what did you think of this match?
No, not only what you were saying, but I was thinking, isn't Braun the first guy, if not the new, I want to say, crop of call-ups that gets a championship? So that's a lot to say between him winning the championship and Carmelo being in the number 1 draft pick. Just shows you what the future we have in WWE coming forward. But yeah, this match, like you said, it didn't have to be too long either. Being a Braun Breaker match, you want to see him like this, being given that push to the fact that he's a stronger guy, and you want to show that off by having a short match to the point that it shows off how strong he is and his agility too, and the way he just runs those ropes is just incredible to see, and it just makes sense. And a lot of people have been mentioning, it also frees up Sami Zayn for potentially that Bloodline Survivor Series match if it does happen. And I feel like him dropping the title tonight, it gives more of a hint that he could be involved in the future with that as well. But I feel like Sami didn't need to have a long title reign either, especially after having Gunther with a long one too. So it does make sense. It'll be fun to have Braun versus Ilya now with the championship on the line like this and see something different, and maybe have Sami Zayn involved in there as well for at least one more match before he moves on to something else. But I think at least 2 or 3 of them involved in that match coming soon, I think will be nice to see as well.
Mr. Mark.
I'm just thankful Sami Zayn's lost the championship. I'm sick and tired of seeing a champion like Sami Zayn he has to fight from underneath and fight his way up, but never change the style when doing the same thing every single week and not being the aggressor. I'm sick of it. I like to see, if you've got a baby face sometimes coming into it, look at Cody Rhodes. He comes from within, but at the same time, he's also the one at some matches where he is the aggressor. He is pushing forward. He is the one doing it. And I just
Cody Rhodes
thought...
matches are you watching?
Most of them. I watch it.
Cody always fights from underneath.
No, but he's
That's
not
the Cody style.
Yeah, but when you go against AJ Styles, never was really fighting from underneath. It was even mostly throughout the match. Both times, apart from the ending when he used the steel steps, and AJ Styles has never been seen apart from when he turns up in Japan. But it's just one of those things where Sami Zayn has done the same thing from when he was in NXT to now. He's never changed his style of the way he does it, and it's boring, and I'm sick of it. And with Bron Breakker now, seeing a guy like this, when even if he gets beaten down, you know that he's going to do something big and drastic. And I'm really excited to see what they do with him. I don't want him to fight Ilya Dragunov yet, which I think we're going to see straight away. And I think Sami Zayn will probably get a rematch, and then all of that will happen. But with Bron Breakker, I'm more interested to see how he's going to do holding the mid card in the main roster. This is completely different than NXT. You have to perform every single time, and you have to be there, and you have to do it. With NXT, you can make a couple of mistakes and you're fine. But when you're in this situation and you've got to look at the lineage that's happened with the Intercontinental Championship, then he has to perform. You look at the guy before Sami Zayn, 666 days as your Intercontinental Champion, and he defended that week in and week out. So at this point, it's very much now. I think I'm more excited to see what Bron Breakker does with it, and the way that he demolished Sami Zayn was the perfect way for his character moving forward, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, I feel like Cody Rhodes, I feel like almost all baby faces in this generation fight from underneath. I think that's the reason why you have a baby face. It's why you have a hope spot. It's why you have half of what works in professional wrestling is that moment of fighting from underneath.
Yeah, but you don't need to do it like with Cody Rhodes. If he goes into a non-title match, then most of the time he's the one on top because he's the champion. You look at the match with Carmella Hayes, for example. Cody Rhodes was on top of that most of the time. Just a couple of bits where Carmella Hayes sort of shocked it, but he was the man on top. No matter with Sami Zayn, when he's the champion or not, it's constant from underneath. And it's like, Sami, even when he was a heel, it was still the same thing. It's like, Sami, you've got the skill set. You've got everything at your feet. You've got it all. Use it. Use the different ways of doing things. Make your matches a little bit different, not predictable. And that's the one thing I will say about that. But Sami Zayn's excellent, and he's a great wrestler, but I do want to see him do things a little bit differently.
We now move on to a match. Oh, we got John Cena jumping in saying AJ Styles is great. He just can't have a bad match with anybody. I agree. AJ Styles has rarely had a bad match. I would like AJ Styles to take off his John Cena thing so that we can see him. It'd be nice. He has on his John Cena gear. He beat up John Cena so much, we now can't see AJ Styles either. Moving on to people we don't want to see. Logan Paul lost the U.S. title, thank God, in the next match to LA Knight. Yes. Logan Paul is a disgraceful human being who made it abundantly clear for everybody that anybody who wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's changed, he hasn't. He's still the same trash human being he was. He still supports Donald Trump. And he still, even in an apology, continues to give a false narrative. So fuck Logan Paul. We're going to talk only about the good work done by LA Knight in this match. And then we're going to quickly move away from this match. Mark, what do you think about this?
Oh, there's so much I want to say, but I'm going to have to try and really be careful in how I say things.
Remember, we're talking about LA Knight.
Yeah, I know. I'm still trying to find the right words to use. Don't worry about it.
Do you want me to go to Astrid where you can find the words?
No. I can say before we get into anything. Fuck Logan Paul. So I'm very much of this should have been LA Knight's title WrestleMania. It's been 5 months. I think it has been since WrestleMania. 5 months, a little bit late for it. But I'm excited. I think this is the one good thing now that with the different brands is you've got Bron Breakker, the Wrecker, who you know that's going to defend it when he wants to defend it. Will most probably be at PLEs, and then you got LA Knight, who I just feel like is going to be like John Cena 2.0 when he's going to go, all right, open challenge. Who wants it? Let's give it loads of opportunities to different people. Who wants to fight this? Who wants to do that? Let's get more talent doing. Not have 3 defenses over the space of 200 and something days holding the title and be an absolute twat on the internet and not get your facts right. And when you do get your facts, you still fuck up the apology, you twat. Anyway, I was one of those that thought that when Logan Paul was going to come to WWE, or before that, when he decided to change, that I will see a new Logan Paul. But then the other day made me go, you're still the same. But with LA Knight, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to stop talking now because I can feel myself going on a rant and I don't want to do it because I know I'll get cancelled. So, Astrid.
Your rant is done. No, I feel like you said, Mark, it just like it feels this is way overdue for LA Knight at this point. I'm glad it's happening now. I'm glad that hopefully Logan Paul will be away for a long while at this point as well. I'm jealous because he will be coming. LA Knight will be coming here soon for a signing, and my brother has been hoping the whole night that he will be able to meet LA Knight with the U.S. Championship on his shoulder as well. So now he gets to have that. I'm very jealous of him. So no, I feel like this is something like he's the kind of person you gotta strike while the iron is hot, and while the people love him, you gotta take advantage of that and make him champion while this is happening. And I feel like it took a little bit too long, but at the same time, I'm glad it's happening now. Finally, it's nice to see him getting finally a championship because we've been waiting a long while for him to have any title at this point. So, like you said, Mark, I'm just thinking of like I feel like I don't think he'll do outwin challenges, but he'll be the kind of person that if somebody challenges him, he'll be like, yeah, let's do it tonight because he'll want to do it right there and then. And I feel like with SmackDown, you have Santos, and then you have Apollo Crews, and you have a Baron Corbin, and you have Carmelo and Andrade, and there's so many guys there that I would like to see him wrestle for that championship now, even if they lose it, just because I know that we'll have a great showing. So I'm really excited for that going on SmackDown, and at least we have a champion that's going to be on the show on a weekly basis. So it'll be nice to get the storylines going on SmackDown now because we didn't have that before.
Also, can I just say one more thing just before we move on? And also, this is relevant to the match. Fuck Machine Gun Kelly. Carry on.
I mean,
by the way, Eminem destroyed your career, and now you're trying to revive it, and you can't. So you're trying to latch on. So why don't you go back to the background and no one sees you again? Thank you very much.
His song with Avril Lavigne's pretty good, but other than that, it's pretty much bad. And John Cena does credit this is technically LA Knight's second title in WWE because he was indeed the $1 million champion in NXT, which was a WWE sanctioned championship belt during a short period with that championship.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. I remember it now, but I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, he does have one damn pretty beautiful moonsault. And if only it wasn't in a trash human being, we'd talk more about it. Moving on from this match, we move on to our next match. Bayley versus Nia Jax. I love this match. I thought this match was done perfectly. Nia looked like an absolute star. Bayley got all of these great moments to become this fantastic, huge champion moment. You know, especially kicking out of the Annihilator. And then going ahead and having that powerbomb moment where she picks up Nia and takes 3 or 4. I was shocked. Like, there are some women in the WWE know that are power people. Bayley was not on my power people list where she has that kind of, but she did. She took 4 or 5 steps with Nia. And Nia's not a small lady by any means.
Yep.
But no, it was a fantastically built match. And because I get to play it, so I don't get to play it anymore.
All I have to say now is it's Tiffy time.
Yes, we had Tiffany Stratton show up. So all I have to say is it's tippy time. We heard the tippy time song. She came out with her briefcase. Bayley got distracted. Nia Jax won the match. 2 more annihilators.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to put Bayley to put Bayley down for what she had to go through to get there. So Bayley doesn't look too weak in this. It makes Nia look strong, and it makes Tiffany look smart. So it does a lot of good for 3 people. The question is, where do we go with Nia from here? Because the one thing SmackDown is short with is, well, I guess they're not short because they lost the match on Friday. Bianca and Jade are really your only 2. I mean, Naomi are your only 3 options for Nia. So,
Well, Michin too.
you
You can still push her.
Is she a baby?
I mean, at this point, I don't even know because she's with the OC and NXT like a heel, but a SmackDown, she feels like a face with Bayley. I don't know at this point.
I
don't know where she lands.
And I'll be honest. Mark keeps wooing. I don't think Charlotte's coming back to SmackDown. I don't.
She is.
I think if they were smart, Charlotte would come back on Raw.
But Andrade's on SmackDown, though. They tend to leave the couples together.
No,
most of the time.
They don't always, especially now. They really
no, but like I would say, like 90% of the time, yeah. So I think she goes to SmackDown.
Married couples, they do. Like
they are married
couples. Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, normal regular couples, they don't. But if you're married, they will put you on the same brand.
I don't. I don't find as much room for Charlotte to thrive on SmackDown because SmackDown is. Here's the thing. We all know when Charlotte comes back, Charlotte is going to be at the top of the card. She may not win the championship right away, but it won't be long. There are too many young women who they are pushing heavily on the SmackDown side for her to come back and just win. Whereas if you bring her to Raw, you can put her in there with the Rhea Ripleys. You can put her in there with the Liv Morgans. Eventually, you get Becky Lynch back, and she comes back on Raw. Plus the Netflix thing. I know Netflix doesn't care if they have them or not, but WWE does.
No, but Netflix won't matter though.
Raw feel big.
Yeah, but it won't make it be any bigger because Netflix. The only issue for Netflix is just America. In Europe and everywhere else, we're getting SmackDown, NXT, Raw, and the PLEs everywhere around the world is going to be on Netflix. So that doesn't matter. I think the one thing that I will disagree with is we've seen Rhea Charlotte. We don't need to see it again. We Charlotte and Becky don't need to see that. We've had that. They need to be friends. Don't put them in a match. The one thing I will say is what they need to do is they need to turn Bianca heel, and they need to have Charlotte versus Bianca, and they need to do it. Charlotte doesn't nowhere near Raw. She needs to be on SmackDown, and because as you said, there's a lot of talented women that are on SmackDown, young talented women that are coming up. What best way to give them the rub of the green than the most won championship by a woman never in Charlotte Flair? And I think that, and also she will be on SmackDown because Nia's not going to hold that title for long. There's going to be someone where she has a match where she gets beaten down a lot, i.e. Bianca, i.e. Jade Cargill or Charlotte, where then Tiffany will cash in and then take that title away. That's how I feel like this is going to go. Then what you've got is Tiffany versus Charlotte. You've got Tiffany versus Rhea, Tiffany versus Bianca, Tiffany versus Jade. You've got so many possibilities with Charlotte going to SmackDown. There's more better matches, if that's English, than there is going to be with Charlotte going to SmackDown than there is her going to Raw.
Maybe. We've seen what happens when Charlotte Flair's on a roster, and what typically happens is Charlotte wins low. And I'm just like, there are so many young people coming up on that SmackDown women's side. It's like, I don't want Charlotte in the way of all that. So I'm like, let's just bring her over here where everybody's already established and it doesn't much matter.
Yeah, but then
I feel like
yeah, go on, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say is you can flip that to what you've just said. Is they've got young superstars, yeah, but then why not add an experienced one to help the young one? Charlotte Flair hasn't won a title in I don't know how long, and she loses more title matches now than she actually wins. She hasn't won a title. You look at Nia Jax, I've just got it up here. The last time she held that championship when she lost it was Money in the Bank 2018.
Yeah,
so
when she got catched on by Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, and it's very much for me now to go, right, you've now got the unholy New Zealanders with the unholy alliance with Blair Davenport. Then you've got Bianca and Jade, and you've got Naomi, who come back and just disappeared. Very much so in that. So for me, Charlotte Flair would so suit SmackDown to she can win. You can win. She can win against the youngsters. That's fine. That's not taking an opportunity away. It will just be more of a showcase for those women to be on display more because more people will watch. If Charlotte Flair turns up, more people are going to watch. She's more of a draw than any of the 4 horsewomen, and she's more of a draw than that. And that's why you put her on a brand that has more greener superstars than you do with experience.
Maybe. I could buy that for $1.
Because I feel like if you think about Raw, though, the only woman I would put with Charlotte would be Liv. Because Liv is when she lost to Charlotte, it's when she got on the mic and said she was going to be real after that. And that kind of started that shift for Liv moving forward. So that'll be the only match that we kind of see for Liv because she never got that win over Charlotte. So if she gets that, I feel like that will be the end of a story there that we had for a while at this point. That'll be the only person that I would see like having some kind of storyline right now with Charlotte if she does return to Raw. But I can see her more going on SmackDown because not only Andrade, but I feel like they're missing that star power that she has as well. And I hate to say that because now when you put Bayley down, Nia doesn't have the same star power that Bayley has, for example. So you got to do a little bit there in that mix. And to me, I enjoy the match. I just don't like Nia, so I wouldn't have like Nia as a champion anyway. I don't care for her that way. And I would have liked it more if we had at least Tiffany try to cash in, even if she lost it. I think that would have been different for her in like character wise to lose to Nia because of the cash in, for example, and then have that rift happening between them right there and then tonight. Because even that ending, like the way that Tiffany was like a little bit behind Nia, she was celebrating, that seemed a little bit too weird for too long. And it was that moment I was like, man, it should have happened here because the ending feels so awkward. Yes, I don't like Nia as much. So this is one of the matches I was not happy about Bayley losing because I enjoyed the match, but I didn't want Bayley to lose. I did like the callback though with the submission to their NXT match though that happened at the beginning. They mentioned it in commentary as well. So I like seeing that submission and sleeper hold kind of ending that they did a callback to that, but yeah, that's the thing I would have done a little bit differently because at the ending, that Tiffany and I interaction feels so awkward at the end, like something was missing there. And I feel like you could have had a Tiffany cash in. The crowd would have reacted so well to that too, even if she lost it. But I feel like that could have made a rift between them on SmackDown later on. But still, now at least Nia is gonna be watching her back for Tiffany at the same time for who knows how long at this point, which is gonna make it interesting too. But again, I was like, what do you do with Bayley right now after her losing the championship? I feel like she was great as a champion, so I would have kept her on a little bit longer than what she had it on for. But again, with Nia's champion, we do have a Michin you can push in because she seems more like a face on SmackDown. You do have Naomi, you do have Jade, you do have Bianca. So, something's going to happen here and there as well, and she's going to have Tiffany to back her up too.
Bayley could, one, take some well-deserved time off. Or two, she could tag team with Naomi and win the tag team titles.
And that's another thing because they kind of teased a little bit the way they were teasing the way that Naomi hugged Bayley after she won. It's something that I was hoping for that heel turn to happen with Naomi there on her as well. So something I hope would happen towards later on the story. But then now,
at some point, we need a babyface on SmackDown in the women's division. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see Bianca turn. I want to see Naomi turn. But Jade Cargill's not a babyface. Not to me, at least. Tiffany Stratton, as much as I love Tiffany Stratton's not a babyface. Michin, I've seen enough of her on SmackDown on NXT to know she's not a babyface when she's running around with the OC. So it's like, we need babyfaces. We can't have all these babyfaces turn heel.
Well, we have Jade, Bianca, Naomi Michin so far, and then Bayley would get a rematch. So
And Charlotte Flair will come back as a face to start with,
And
then we'll turn heel. That's the normal.
Mhm.
I mean, she won't turn heel. The fans will just start booing her like they always do.
Yeah,
They're-
exactly. But I
Mhm.
disagree with Bayley being a good champion. I've more enjoyed her rush to the championship than her being a champion. Like I'm very much of with Bayley. I was like, oh come on, you can do this. Yes, she's done it. I'm a bit bored now. All of this. Oh, I'm gonna hug my friends, and we're gonna have opportunities with Naomi. No, I don't want to see any of that crap. I want to be seeing Bayley go out there and put on excellent matches and doing that. But I don't care about all of that. What she was doing, and I want my friends there and trying to do that. No, you had your friends with damage control that screwed you over. Now be a solo person and take it to another level. And I don't think she did, and I don't think she was a better champion than what Io Sky was. And I feel like this is Nia Jax's time to grab the bull by its horn. She hasn't had a championship in a very long time. This is her opportunity now to go, this is my time. I'm now going to prove why I should hold this title for a while. And when the cash-in does happen, it's going to mean something. That's what I'm looking at.
I don't remember if it was Joe Carney or if it was Stephanie Hypes or if it was Ella J. I forget which one of our wonderful friends who's there live this weekend for SummerSlam doing media. But I believe one of them had a moment where they talked with Bayley, and she was like, yeah, the plan was never for me to win the championship. It just sort of presented itself as an opportunity.
I think it was Joey.
I'm almost certain it was Joey's interview with Bayley when they talked about this. But that wasn't something like the whole plan was for her to build damage control, to have damage control win the titles. There was never really a plan to have the turn and to have her become, a solo star and go back after the championships. She was happy with the championship. And again, I wholeheartedly tell you, please go check out all of our wonderful friends who are doing media over this week, whether it be for Sportskeeda, whether it be for Joe Carney's YouTube channel, whether it be Ella J, who's doing it for SC Scoops, whether it be, I believe, Jose is doing it for
PW Mania.
PW Mania, yes. All kinds of fantastic friends of ours doing all kinds of great things this weekend. STG agrees with you, though, Mark. Mark, I feel the same way about Cody. I love this chase. I don't care about him as champion, despite him being the most over babyface. That's the problem
with that one.
with champions. So often, we love the chase, and as soon as they win it, we go, now what?
See, I disagree with that one. I'm actually enjoying Cody Rhodes' run differently than what he's doing, and I'm really enjoying it. But it just feels different with Bayley than it does with Cody Rhodes. I can't. And do you know what the thing is? I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell you exactly what it is. To me, there's just different ways that I look at it and the way I feel about it.
All right. We then have a backstage segment for Manscaped that we're not going to talk about because
That was brilliant.
Boy, was that a bad
I loved every second of that. That was brilliant.
I bet you did. Seeing Oda
it.
shave that wonderful belly of his, I bet you.
I did.
STG.
I wanted to see more.
I don't mind the AJ Styles match that Cody had, but I don't care about Solo or Logan Paul. Well, yeah, nobody cares about Logan Paul. Anyways, moving on to things that a lot of people cared about that, and I'll just be honest, I think it should have been a triple threat. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the guest referee. I'll be honest, this match kind of sucked. From beginning to end, I hated almost everything about this match. Punk is too old. Drew is working way too slow to work with Punk. Rollins made it all about him.
Shot.
More about a stupid bracelet than he did about winning the match twice. It was the worst match of the night for me. I liked the story going in. I liked the story coming out. But as a wrestling match, it kind of sucked. I'm not a CM Punk fan. So you're already half lost me already with CM Punk in the wrestling. But the build to this match has been phenomenal. With the injury at the Rumble and Drew playing off the injury at the Rumble and everything that happened at Mania and everything that happened in Scotland and everything that happened in Money in the Bank. Every step of the way, it's been perfect. And then we put Seth Rollins in it. And it kind of blew it all up. I know Ashley's a Seth Rollins fan. She's going to agree with me that it was really a bad choice to bring Seth Rollins into all this.
No, just like the only thing I would have done differently, I would have made it a triple threat from the get-go. But you can tell this is the one that's happening after this. But I would have done a triple threat, to be honest. 'Cause I did enjoy Rollins as a ref and like the fun parts he did of missing the counts on purpose and like hit him again. You can do that again. It's like, and then tying his shoes and not paying attention when he did. But I think it was more like the storytelling is what took the main focus in this match, because it was those moments of like Punk doing the submission on Drew, but taking away the bracelet from him and not even putting it on, but leaving it in the ring. And then he gets all crazy the moment he sees that Rollins has it on and Rollins getting kicked, but then he wants Rollins to be there for the count. But he just kicked him a few seconds earlier. It's like, how do you want him to count if you like almost knocked him out? Like, make it make sense, dude. But I understand the part about Punk being slow. And you can tell that Drew is doing it on purpose to work with him. And even there was 2 kicks, I think it was, that Drew ducked before even Punk did him because he was working that slow. But to me, it was fun in that aspect of having Rollins as a ref. Not only that, but the outfit, 10-10, no notes again. He did great. No, I think that was fun of it. But I would have done a triple threat. I feel like it would have been a lot more fun having it that way, having some sort of stipulation to it, because obviously being a triple threat is already no DQ, but something else to it on top of it would have been nice rather than doing this. But I think they just didn't want Rollins to miss a pay-per-view, but still rest at the same time. So I'm guessing that's what happened here.
STG with the quote of the night. I've never watched CM Punk during his heyday, so all I know about Punk is he talks well and gets injured after one match.
Yeah, waiting on that one.
CM Punk, back in the day, was probably Kenny Omega and Okada levels of greatest of all time. CM Punk in Ring of Honor was about as good as it gets. If you watch anything from CM Punk in Ring of Honor, watch his matches with Samoa Joe. Those things, as Ashley can tell you, because she watched them, I believe, with Fightful. You watch one of the old CM Punk Samoa Joe matches. Mm-hmm. They're sensational. However, the Punk that wrestled those matches and the best in the world CM Punk that held the title for 434 days and blew a kiss at Vince McMahon after he beat John Cena when his contract expired and he took the belt home and put it in his fridge. That CM Punk was 14 years ago. That CM Punk doesn't exist anymore. The CM Punk we have now is a lot more fragile, a lot less talented, and at the end of the day, shockingly doing the right thing in putting over younger talent. Drew's not much younger than Punk.
Younger than him, but not much.
Yeah. But he's here to put over other talent, which is good. It's a good thing. But like CM Punk is a quality wrestler at one point. He, like I said, I'll say he was probably one of the best in the world at the time he was wrestling, when he was doing the ROH stuff and when he came to WWE the first time. He may have been at that level. That's probably where I would have put him. But a lot has changed between then and now.
Yep, I started watching him in ECW, so.
Mark, what do you think of this match, my friend?
I absolutely loved it. I didn't care for Seth Rollins whatsoever in this match. He annoyed me more than the wrestling itself. With Seth Rollins, I feel like what he needs to learn to do is when you're injured, go away. And then when you're fully fit, come back. We don't need to see you all the time. He didn't need to be in here. This didn't need to be a triple threat either. This needed to be a full-on street fight, and it would have been more compelling if it was a street fight than the wrestling match. Now, CM Punk is never going to be the wrestler that he was. It never is. He had 10 years away from the ring, and then he hasn't had that many matches since coming back. So for me, it's very much of you need to sort of help Punk along a bit until he's fully back to what he's doing. The one thing I am very happy with is Corey Graves knows how to pick CM Punk up from an airport. So that's one of the things that I learned from it. And also CM Punk sort of now learns what it's like to be in a mostly full arena instead of loads of empty seats. So that was nice for him to have that opportunity as well. I
will say on the defense of AEW, the times Punk wrestled, which is normally on pay-per-view, the arenas were normally full.
Yeah, but also who cares about AEW anyway? So for me, it's very much of Punk got what he needed out of it, and I think the storytelling in this is going to be more interesting. Where do they go from this? Punk will want a rematch against Drew. Drew don't want to give it because he's already done what he needed to do, and he's going to go on to the next thing. You've got Seth Rollins versus Punk. Don't care for it. Seth Rollins had this gripe when CM Punk come back. Who cares? So for me, it's very much of I would love to see CM Punk become a manager type role, but wrestles every so often. He has the microphone skills to bring young wrestlers together, male, female, however you want to do it, that can project them into a bigger way of doing it. But I loved it. I like the way the storytelling. If you take the Seth Rollins part out of it, I like the storytelling between Drew and CM Punk. And I think the right man won so that they can move on. And now we've just got to deal with Seth Rollins, who will get it probably not fully heal and try and do about 45 moonsaults, get injured again, and then still try and wrestle. At some point, the man needs to learn to go and lay down and have a little bit of a rest. Not a Paul Heyman type. Different. He can still wrestle. He can never be a Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's Paul Heyman. You can't have no one to do that.
Just so we're clear, when we're talking about managers, there is Mr. Fuji, there is Bobby Heenan, there's Jimmy Hart, and there's Paul Heyman. They're at this level. And then there's a massive gap between them and anybody else who was a good manager.
Yeah, very much so. Paul Heyman.
And I understand I'm dating myself by bringing Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart, and Mr. Fuji into this mix. But those are the greatest managers of when I've watched professional wrestling.
Yeah, but you can also say it doesn't matter about the era. It's because they were good at what they did and they were known for what they've done. But Paul Heyman will go with, I think, the GOAT of it. There's no one that can do it. Paul Bearer's different. He was like you can have the list
Paul
of
Bearer.
but
He's not
different
category. That's a different category for Paul Bearer.
Yeah,
he's great on a different level. Like Roman,
shit,
Paul
Bearer. Yeah, Paul Bearer, spooky shit. Everyone else, normal wrestlers. You've got to put different categories with different ones. But yeah, no. And I'm much looking forward to now to see where this goes and what happens next.
We then saw Jelly Roll tag team with the Awesome Truth to take out A-Town Down Under. I saw one person on Twitter say, this is why WWE will always be a shit brand because they do crap like this. And I'm like, this was fine.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine.
Please
say. I did, however, put in the Discord that if anybody wants to imagine what I look like below where the camera is, I'm Jelly Roll without the talent and the tattoos. So if you ever want to picture what the rest of OLED looks like, just look at Jelly Roll and got a basic idea.
I have never pissed myself with laughter by looking at a comment than when you put that in there. I was like, that the timing of that, the way when you wrote that in as well. Oh my god, that was perfection. And normally for you it's a load of shit, but that was perfection for you.
All right. We're now going to do something special.
Oh, it's special time. It's so special.
So we are going to do something very special.
Oh my god,
We're going to put this on the screen. We're going to do this. Oh no, wait, we can't do that.
Hold on.
This.
Oh, hello.
And hold on. No, I got it. No, we gotta.
No,
hold on.
No, hold on.
I gotta figure this out. Hold on. Give me a minute.
If you're worried about flash photography or any epilepsy, then watch out. We're flicking. Oh, we'll all stay on the screen together. We'll all
Wait, let me just remove myself. You can put me back
there
when
we
he's
go.
done.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I'm on this on my own. And he hasn't even pressed play.
Well, Ed, give the instructions of what's happening before you remove yourself, and then remove yourself. So that's better. There you go.
Probably a good idea. So what's going to happen is Mark is going to get 3 minutes. 3 minutes with nobody else interrupting him to talk about Gunther versus Damian Priest. After 3 minutes, we're going to mute Mark's mic, and he will speak nothing else of this match. But he's going to get 3 uninterrupted minutes.
The greatest night of my life. Go on, wait for it. The timer. There we go. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of every age, you are now in the era of prestige. We've just had part with the street trash era, and now we've got the Ring General, the king of the ring, the greatest, purest, pure wrestler that has ever existed. This is going to be so much fun. I love this match all the way through. I didn't really rate Damian Priest as a world champion until tonight. I have full respect for the man. He deserves what Finn Balor did to him. You don't rough up your own mate. Not at all. You get what you get given. But is it? The Ring General is going to take this to the sky. There is no one in the history of professional wrestling that will be able to go with him. Roman Reigns, who? This is the Ring General's time. The match I really want to see, and the match I'm really excited for, is Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov. That is a match I want to see very, very soon, and I want to see it now. But we're not. But we're all just going to revel in the marvel, and we're all just going to thank the Ring General. We need to thank him because we put up with all that before, and now we've got prestige in the middle of this ring. We've got absolute bona fide legend that is going to be holding this prestigious world title and take it to another level. Cody Rhodes is just a mere smidge in what the Ring General can do. And I'm so excited that we can all... I don't even need the 3 minutes because I tell you what, I'm nearly done. And all I can say is ladies and gentlemen, and this is it from me, and I could be removed from the screen. That is fine because, ladies and gentlemen, you are now in the prestige era, and I'm now going to go back in behind to let these two beautiful people talk about why the Ring General is the greatest of all time. Over to you.
All right. So now that we can have a rational discussion about this match. No, I'm not disgusted. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm playing a role here. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I like Gunther. I think Gunther's great. You want to know a funny stat about Gunther? Gunther debuted with WWE 2,023 days ago. He has been champion for 1,536 and 66 and 36 days. 1536. He's been champion for 76% of the time he's been with the company. This includes his NXT UK Championship run, plus the Intercontinental Championship run. Remember, During that period, there was also a period of WWE buried Gunther in between that. So let's put this in perspective. He held the title for 870 days in the UK. He came over to NXT proper for about 3 months. Didn't do a whole lot. He got beat relatively quickly at the Survivor Series where it was NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown. I believe he was the first person eliminated from that match, if I recall. He then lost to, I believe, Pete Dunne on Raw. No, it was Seth Rollins during that same UK trip that they went on. And then he got buried when they gave him the name Gunther. And Vince was going to bury the man. Then a 666-day Intercontinental title reign puts him at 1,536 days as champion out of 2023 for 75.9%, essentially 76% of his time as champion.
That's amazing Steiner math, though.
That is not Steiner math.
I know.
Astrid, I know you're sad. Talk about the reign of Damian Priest.
That was so bittersweet. Yeah, I definitely was torn about it because I knew Gunther was going to be champion. I was going to say heading into Bash of Berlin, or at least winning at Bash of Berlin, one of the two. So I kind of expected Damian to lose it tonight. But at the same time, knowing he made the culture proud. He really did. And to have him as the first Puerto Rican world champion in 50 years, that's something to be proud of. That cash-in was monumental. It was amazing to watch. So, and he got to see my reaction to it, so I'm very happy about that too. So, no, overall, I feel like he did great tonight. That part with Finn is something I expected to happen since the moment that he apologized to him beforehand, because before this, he was talking about, oh, we didn't find Dom, he probably just left. And he goes, I'm sorry. And the way he apologized, and then you said, and I was like, damn it, this is it. I'm sorry for what's going to happen to you later. So, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't expect it to happen this way, though. I just didn't know how it would play out. But having Finn put in Gunther's foot on the rope to help him out, and have Damian not focusing on Gunther the way he should be, but focusing on Finn and that rage that he has with him. But again, I told my brother, this goes back to when Finn had his title match. The one that cost him the title match was Damian. So it goes back to that as well, the root of it as well. So to see that happen is like, this is something that's going to come up later too. So, and the part that for a while, Damian took over Judgment Day in a way that Finn didn't. So it's something that I feel like it's also going to be brought up as well. But again, I feel like the match itself was really fun. It was really nice to see. But again, I would have just preferred Damian retaining. Otherwise, that's the only thing. But again, he did great as world champion. I'm glad I got my shirt before it was over.
Yeah, I thought this was really a really great match. I loved everything about this match. I loved the fact that it made, for the first time, they found a person who really makes Damian Priest feel like the Damian Priest that he's supposed to have been all this time. Some guys need a certain opponent to make them feel like a... Damian Priest wasn't carried in this match. Gunther brought him to a level that Damian Priest is at, but nobody else can get there with him. Damian Priest is the odd big guy who wrestles better against big guys than small guys. Kevin Nash is the epitome of a big guy who wrestles better against small guys than big guys. But Damian Priest is the exact opposite. He needs a big body to really get in there and go. And tonight, he really took it to Gunther. I mean, hell, he hard-weighed Gunther tonight. Like, let's talk about that. Damian Priest's skin is tougher than Gunther's skin because Gunther's skin gave in. It bled. And it was a fantastic match. The wrong outcome, mostly because I wanted to see Mark's meltdown if Gunther had lost tonight going into Berlin. I really wanted to see what would have happened if that had happened. But overall, match of the night. I thought it was great. Nothing. The main event couldn't touch it, and I don't think it did touch it. Although I enjoyed
it. What I will say is one final thing is
Yeah.
Damian Priest showed, like I said earlier, showed tonight that, and I said this when we were talking about this earlier, this was the time Damian Priest needed to show, because he's had that couple of opportunities before where he's messed up. He had the ring where he got caught himself, and then he also had that fake, didn't actually kick out of a pin moment when he should have. So for me, this was the final test, because the thing is, and people will say, rightly so, I fanboy over Gunther, because I always will, because he is someone who I've seen live, and this is the most impressed of a person I've ever seen live in the flesh of a human being ever. But this was the test of, can you go with someone of Gunther's caliber? And this is the one thing which lets Damian Priest down, and I want him to get better, because I want him to be world champion again, because I like what he did and I like what he done. Was, as you said, he can only work with big guys, where if you put Gunther in the ring with anybody, he will make it an excellent match. You could put him in there with a plastic bag and he could still do it. With Damian Priest, there's still this little thing here and there where there's mistakes in him that could happen. So for me, Damian Priest now has learned what he needs to do, and I'm looking forward to see what happens now with him to move on and push forward. But this is a learning curve for him. This is not a learning curve for Gunther. As you said, 76% of his time in WWE, he's been a champion. Before he was even in WWE, he's been a champion in every single promotion he's ever been in. So it's very much, I'm now really looking forward to seeing what Damian Priest does, and the talent WWE has now to go up against Gunther is just, you can pick anyone and it will be a great match. So I'm really excited for that. And I have nothing against Damian Priest beforehand. I have nothing against him, nothing like that. He was brilliant, and it's all about playing a character, and I love playing a character where it pisses people off. So for me, now I'm excited to see what Damian Priest done. But also, Gunther's never losing that title, so I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
No.
I was gonna say, the only thing I would disclaimer, the one from the ropes was not his fault, because everybody had an issue with the ropes on that pay-per-view, just so you know, sir.
Yeah, that's fine, but he still messed up. So.
Yeah, still.
We now
And he's
move
still
on
okay
to the
about
main event. But really, the only thing worth talking about is this.
Avengers Part 2.
Let's start with this.
God, does he look good no matter what? Like, the longer beard, little bit grayer. Oh, Jesus Christ, that man looks great.
OTC, Original
Yes.
Tribal Chief. God, that was a moment. I hate his new music, by the way. It's not an intro. It's brand new music.
Mm-hmm.
They Def Rebelled his music.
It sounds similar, but it's not entirely the same.
No, there's
more choiry, isn't it? There's more choir in it, I think, now.
No, there's less choir, and now there's a boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm. And the intro was different too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I couldn't
It was a
really
lot
hear it.
longer.
I just saw him and then freak out. To be fair, that was about it. I didn't really hear what was going on.
All right, we'll put Roman away for now.
No.
The main event was Bloodline Rules, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, and this is a fun match. I'm going to do something that I don't think a lot of people are going to do tonight. Solo Sikoa really did a good job in this match. Solo Sikoa did a lot more than I thought he could ever do. The main event spotlight wasn't too big for him. I thought he delivered on character work. I thought he delivered on in-ring. I thought he delivered in being the leader of his version of the Bloodline. I think Solo Sikoa had a hell of a night tonight. Jacob Fatu obviously had a less successful night. Jacob Fatu is banged up, according to Triple H. He was helped to the back with the help of the referees after the camera went onto Roman Reigns. Hopefully he's okay, because, God, that would be a really bad time for him to get hurt, because we've got Bloodline War Games coming up in 3 months in Canada. Vancouver, Canada. So we might have an Ole presence at Survivor Series. Looking at you, Munson, if you're still watching. You probably drank and smoked too much, but if you're still watching, Munson, that means you. Asher, what did you think of this match?
No, I feel like Solo did great for the moment, having a spotlight like the way he did tonight. I just laughed because I first seen our Anderson backstage with Cody on his way out, so it was nice to see that part. He's like, we still have friends here, so I obviously automatically knew it was KO and Randy, but I was thinking who's gonna be the third one though, because we have Jacob in between here. So seeing Tangaloa again, oh my god, he botched even that part. It was like, Jesus, what this guy doesn't botch? I just want to know at this point. I'm frustrated with him. I really am. But him and Tamatanga coming in, I would say like halfway ish through the match, and then KO and Randy coming in, taking care of them, taking them out, and then I was like, okay, and now I'm waiting for Jacob. And the moment he hit that whisper in the wind, brother went, how does he do that? And I was like, damn, you haven't been watching, dude, because he does that all the time, and he's doing it so fast and amazingly and so smoothly. And then that moment that he hit the splash on the commentary table, the way he landed, and he told Solo, like, can I grab Cody because I can't do it, and he was leaning over, like, kind of like the barricade a little bit. I went, oh no, this is horrible timing for this. But again, Roman getting that pop that he did, it was just amazing to watch. And when I saw that shirt, oh, TC, I said, I see you, original tribal chief. Clever. I like that. I like that moment though, because we have Solo and Cody on the same side. So when he comes in, you kind of had that moment like, who's he gonna hit? And then he hits Solo right away. So like, oh, okay. So we're going for that one. But again, like I said earlier, having Sami now freed up from the championship, I feel like it definitely leads to that OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline match that's probably going to come up soon. But I feel it's going to be interesting seeing Jimmy and Jay reuniting after this. So this is something that I'm looking forward to, how this road keeps going. Like, again, with Roman also here, he doesn't have to be there on a weekly basis, but I imagine for the premiere of SmackDown, this is probably one of the reasons why he's going to be there too. But again, this was a fun match to watch. I enjoyed every part of it. This is Avengers Part 2 for me, is what it felt like.
I will say Brandy Rhodes has put out a tweet saying he's not invited to Thanksgiving, not yet, but there is an open seat at the table that he might be able to take.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Roman Reigns and helping Cody Rhodes. And the respect, I love that. He does it. He just looks at Cody, and Cody's like, oh God, is it my turn now? And he's just like, you're good.
Mm-hmm. You're good.
Keep looking, and Cody's like, I don't believe you, Roman. I've been down this road before.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you think of this match, my friend?
I loved it. It was batshit crazy, and it was what that needed to be. But I think the one thing I've been very impressed with since WrestleMania is Solo Sikoa. Since WrestleMania, the man has taken the bull by its horn. He needed to step up. He had to step up. Roman Reigns was going away. Solo had to start fresh, had to start new. He had to build his character work for a man that never spoke to being a man that's the forefront of this new bloodline. And also Tungaloa. The reason why he keeps botching, he's got one eye. He can't see what's really going on. His professional visions can't see what's happening. So he can't help that. I don't blame him whatsoever. But I also want to say as well, Tungaloa, Tamatonga has impressed me a lot. Solo Sikoa has stepped up massively. And I really like the way that he's done it, the way he's brought the character to his own. He hasn't mimicked Roman Reigns. He's done what he needed to do, the way that he wanted to do it. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And seeing Roman Reigns back, looking gorgeous as hell, coming back. Amazing to see, and it's taken WWE now to another level. They're already at one level. Roman Reigns went away. They picked it up a bit with all of the storylines that are going on. Now they're into another stratosphere with this. The OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. I'm excited to see how they get Jey Uso and Sami Zayn on the same page with Jimmy and Roman. I'm interested to see how Paul Heyman comes back. What is Cody Rhodes' next opponent going to be? Is it going to be Roman Reigns? Is it going to be Solo again? Could it be any one of the Bloodline, or could it be a
No,
shock
it's
twist that
Randy.
it's Randy Orton? Yeah, Randy Orton or Kevin Owens, that type of thing. Who knows how this is going to go? But SmackDown is now gone to another level. We had a bit of a lull recently in the past few weeks with the way that the matches were going, but Andrade and Carmelo really carried it the way that their matches were happening. But now it's gone to a whole different level, and Roman Reigns being back is just epic on every single emotion. And I will say, I acknowledge my tribal chief, Roman Reigns. I've never said anything differently. Roman, don't ever look at anything I've said before, because Solo Sikoa, I acknowledge you as well as my future tribal chief, but Roman Reigns is still here. And I acknowledge you, my tribal chief.
What about your final boss?
Final boss is the final boss. He's above the tribal chief. So when the final boss comes back, then all hell is broken loose. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my God, he's coming back soon as well. Oh my God, I'm going to be yeeting
He's
all over
not coming
the
back
place.
before he does. What is it? Red One is the name of the movie with him,
Yeah.
Chris Evans. Asher, you haven't seen this?
It's the Father Christmas one, isn't it?
I don't care for it. It's a different story.
Oh, it's going to be great. Asher,
Mhm.
after the show, we'll show it to you.
Oh no.
Speaking of after the show, we've come to the end of the show. Mark, I want you to go ahead and talk about the great things that you have going on right now.
Do I have great things? Okay.
Do you have great things?
I don't know anymore.
You just got sacked over on FIFA.
I did, very much so. It's currently 5:30 in the morning in my time, and I'm slowly losing the will to be sensible. But no, earlier today I did an interview type thing with Astrid, which is on OLE YouTube channel. So make sure you go and check that out. On WWE 2K24, I'm doing that on my wrestling channel. We've got the Royal Rumble coming up, where all three of us, all the general managers, commentate on it. On the football channel, Mark Talks Football, I'm managing in Japan, and my goal next step is to go to America or South America. It's going over that way. And on Mark Talks Gaming, after being sacked on FIFA, I still don't know how, I am doing GTA 5 replay of that and Formula 1 Manager 24. So yeah, a lot of stuff. I'm everywhere. You'll find me. So yeah.
Astrid.
Well, you can find the interview that Mark did with me a little bit earlier today. He almost made me cry. He almost got me. That was very close. Yeah, I had to hold myself. But other than that, you can find me on my Twitter, Blue Skies, astridpizarro, Threads and Instagrams, astridpizarro20. And that will be it for now until Tuesday when I do Taking Over with this guy. And then we have Great American Bash Part 2.
Yes, Great American Part 2. I'm very excited. You can find me on Twitter at EdFries12584. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002. I got a nice slow week this week. I just have Taking Over. I don't have anything else on the agenda.
Woo!
Week for OLED. It'll be nice. Not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday we'll be doing Ant-Man. And then 2 Wednesdays from there, we'll be doing Deadpool, the original Deadpool. And then we're getting into the swing of, we'll probably have one more MCU rebound before we start in September, Agatha All Along. So Marvel Talk is going to be, Asher, by the way, we need you for the finale of Agatha All Along. So make sure you're all set for that one. If it's spooky ooky, it needs to be Astrid.
No, I just want to watch a show that I don't want to shit myself in.
Oh, I don't think you should watch Agatha All Along based on the trailer.
Great. No, great.
But for myself, for Mark Talks Wrestling and gaming and football and all the other talks that Mark talks, check him out over there. The Natural Ash Bizarro. I'm OLED Ed Fries. We're going to be out of here one more time with the shitty music, and next time I guarantee you better music.